What's up, guys? Just got my car towed, so making this on the way back from that lovely experience. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of mad, as anybody would be, but whatever, it's fine. I got a ride, so it's fine. Last time I had to walk. But anyway, today I wanted to talk about something that's kind of deep but also not so deep, right? It's pertaining to relationships in a way, and I don't know what I'm gonna name the title of this video. I'll do that later, obviously, but I kind of want to talk about this now, right? It's sort of like this thing where it's like people don't care about you, you know? And if I can explain this, because obviously, people are gonna be like, yeah, dude, yeah, like, no shit, nobody cares. Like, if you have a hard day, somebody else had a hard day. Yeah, we get that. That's surface level stuff. But what I really mean to say is that, this is actually meant to be a positive message, not a doomer thing, but I am a very negative Nancy type person, and I use negative examples, but the topic's actually not. But I'll get to that. But it's gonna sound doomerish, right? So what I mean by this is I kind of need to tell some stories and kind of make some examples, and then I'll probably be done. But the point is that, and most people, this air conditioning is high. Like, most people, when they're in their life, they think that everything they do, something matters. It's like when you want to post something online, you're like, but is this consistent with who I am? Who I'm following? Or it's like you're on YouTube, or you're on anything social media. And it's like, do you know those people who are talking and they're like, oh, this person did something horrible, I'm gonna unfollow them. It's like, that's a very basic example, but like, that doesn't matter. You think your follow means something? You think if someone's following you and they unfollow, how that like that affects your life? That's like the most basic, bare bones example of a no one cares situation. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going from the bottom and I'm one-upping it, right? A lot of times in life, people like when you have good things happen to you, others will try and drag you down. I mean, I know I do that sometimes. It's not good, but it's like, like when you're having a bad day and someone else has a good day, and it's just like, it just pisses you off. I'm like, dude, fuck you, But it sucks for the person that had a good day, because obviously they want to have, for example, like I was having a good day today and then my car got towed and they pissed me off. So then if someone was like, I just got married, I'm probably gonna fucking throw a fucking cake at you or something, I don't know. But like the point, that's, again, I know this video is starting off stupid, but stick with me. It's gonna get deep, all right? We're going up in tears, all right? Now, another level is you think that, okay, you're dating someone, right? Let's say you date this person, because I know Gen Z, which I am, right? Nobody really dates that long, because our generation is kind of stupid. And we're super individualistic. It's hyper competitive. The world is extremely choking, and most of us damn near sociopaths. But the point is, it's like, let's say you've been with a girl, or if you're a girl, you've been with a guy for, I don't know, let's say a year, and then you break up. And you spend so much time with this person, and your life is fucking shattered. And you think that everybody is gonna be like your closest friends, and they're gonna help you out, and it's gonna, it's like your life's gonna suck, but like you tell your parents, you tell your friends, and it's like you expect them to kind of understand, but they really don't. They're like, damn, bro, that sucks. Lock in, It's like you spend all this time with the person, and then they just turn around, and then next week, your girl's under someone else, or your ex-boyfriend's on top of someone else, or under if he's gay, I don't know. But like, you know what I mean? Nobody cares. Now this is, and I don't mean about relation, I mean like this is anything, nobody cares. You will spend years with someone, learning everything about them, meeting their family, doing everything in your power for them if you're a good partner, pleasing them not only sexually, but for like relationship purposes, or just in life, or just doing anything for them. And then it's just all over. And the funny thing is, I know everybody has this experience, I have been on both ends. I've been on the end where I've done, or like I've loved a person a lot and then they left me at a horrible stage in my life. Story time, it'd be like, when I was a senior, I was dating a girl who was a year younger than me, right? And I decided that instead of going to the school that I wanted to go to, that I was gonna stay back and just go to community college and wait for her, because we're only a year apart. You know, don't fucking give me any weird ass comments talking about, oh, dude, you're dating a girl in high school. Yeah, no shit, I was also in high school. Fucking retard. Anyway, but the point is, it's like, I literally changed my life plans to go to college for her, and then she left me a week later after that. Like, during that semester, when I started having a hard time dealing with adulthood, because I worked full-time while going to school full-time, while also doing like stupid artsy shit like music and whatnot, you know? And stuff like that, really, nobody cares about you. You think a girl would appreciate the fact that you're making a sacrifice like that for her? Because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. But she didn't give a fuck. And she said it was my fault, because she didn't ask me to do that. You know? That's cool. Fine. Whatever. We're gonna go up a layer. You get diagnosed with depression, or you've been sexually assaulted, you've been raped, or something horrible happened to you, and you think that when you tell people that, it kind of like, not that you're using it as a crutch, because those people who do that, that is annoying, but I mean, like, you're like, you hope that people understand why you act a certain way, you know? Like, maybe you're a woman and you've been sexually touched or something. It's like, not that you want to go around telling people, you know, everybody that, like the waiter or some shit, but like, you tell someone in hopes of like they understand why you act a certain way, you know? Or if you're a guy, you know, shit like that. But then you realize it's like most people don't actually give a fuck, you know? It's like, I like, in a way, it's like, when you deal with trauma or deal with bad things, people want to stay away from you, you know? It's sort of like that thing where it's like, you know, if you're a guy or some shit and you got raped by a dude and you told like a girl that on the first date, like, I think they would all leave. And I know women have experienced this in the adversarial sense. That's the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying. The inverse, I mean, where it's like, you could tell a guy that you were raped and he's like, so your body count isn't 0? It's like, dude, why is it the first thing that came to your mind? You know? It's like, now I understand there's two sides to shit like that. It's like, there are girls who will lie about that type of thing, and men can be antsy about that. Like, I know I've had a friend who had a girl lie and all that stuff. But the difference is it's like, you know, it goes both ways. Like, women who lie hurt women who've actually experienced things and are trying to get it out there. But at the same time, guys, you know, want to have like girls, and it's a male loneliness epidemic or some shit. But then like a girl's gonna tell you something, and the first thing that comes to your mind is it's like she's like a slut for getting raped. It's like, that makes no sense. You know, sorry, I told you, it's getting deep. You know, this is like layer 3 or 4 or whatever at this point, right? And this is like, I think I'm gonna title it "Nobody Cares About You," but it's supposed to be freeing. I swear. All right, I will get to the positive part. Oh my, I need to merge. Holy shit, we're all dead. No, I'm gonna give another personal example, okay? Because at this same level, it's pretty deep already. You know, you got trauma, you got a disease. I'm gonna give a personal anecdote. Well, you know, example, I suppose, right? So, diabetes runs in my family, right? You know, type 2 because they're like fat, you know, it's fat as fuck. But it's also genetic on my mom's side. Like, my uncle got type 1 around the same time I did. Now, I was a kid and I didn't have type 1, but I was diagnosed at 12. I lost 86 pounds in 3 months at like in 7th grade or whatever. I was young for that, you know what I mean? And I was going blind, and I remember when I was diagnosed, and like, because my dad and my mom didn't fucking notice. My stepmom did, she saved my life, right? When the doctor's talking to me about it, they're like, dude, you dead ass had, like, okay, they didn't say it like that, but in Gen Z terms, like, or my bad. In regular terms, they're like, look, if you would have not have come in and gotten, you know, pumped on insulin and like, you know, set up straight to like, you know, not die, you would have died within a month. You know what I mean? And it was like, when I had that experience at such a young age, I thought, damn, I almost died. People at school are gonna know, like, they're gonna ask and see where I was at, for 2 weeks in the hospital and then at home or whatever, recovering. And I was like, dude, people are gonna ask me, and it's like, no, nobody cared I was gone. As a matter of fact, nobody even knew who I was then, And another situation happened in that same time frame where there was this kid had cancer, and he used to, be regular, like walking around and shit. Then he was in a wheelchair, then he lost his hair, then he got his leg amputated, and then he died around the same grade level. It was like 8th grade or freshman year of high school in that same school. And it was like, I thought that would be like a huge deal to everybody, but nobody cared. It was like one day he was there, and he would miss school for months at a time, and people would say something, and he died. And it was like, they just like, the grade just like, people like talked about it for like an hour, and then it was back to business as normal, and nobody ever thought of it again. I've thought of that kid a lot. Now look, I'm hypocritical because I didn't go to the funeral, but I was on a baseball team with this kid once, right? And it was like, I wasn't close with him or anything, but it was like, it's very eerie to see in this world how much we care that, oh my God, I can't leave this job, or I can't go start this business, or, I can't leave this relationship that's not fulfilling because people are gonna, no, nobody cares about you. Nobody cared about me. When I died at 12, I have a lot, people sometimes will say that in real life, not on here, because I'm not fucking famous, but they'll say that I'm, eccentric or a douchebag sometimes, but it's just like, how can you not be when you have my experience? Anybody who has had something similar to me, I think will understand, because people who haven't actually been there, I don't think they get it. You can empathize, but it's just like, dude, like, and then also my stepmom who found, out that I had this, she died of cancer, and my brother's mom, because, step siblings, and my half brother's mom, and it's just like, death kind of put me, like, I'm not really affected by death like that. I know that's kind of weird to say, but I'll give kind of an example, right? Like, how as men, if you're a guy watching this, you think that you would be loved just for being who you are. But if you look at the world, I'm going to get this with a story, right? And an example, but this is the example part. When you're a man, nobody loves you for just existing. That's like the Chris Rock thing, right? You're not a woman, you're not a child, you're not a dog. Nobody cares. If you're having a bad day, if you feel sad, and now listen, this is not a don't cry thing. I cry all the fucking time, and I'm bitching right now. So this whole, you can be a man, no, that's stupid. But what I'm saying is actually nobody cares. And that's where that stupid mentality comes from. A lot of men, because they've been told that you can't express your feelings or whatever, they tell other men not to. The point is, you can express your feelings, but what I'm saying is, when you express your feelings, nobody will care. And it's on you to figure that out, and that's the reason why so many men will kill themselves and stuff like that, because nobody cares. Stuff that I went through, which is not suicidal or stuff like that, but when you have experiences like I have, or how other people have had with anything, like men or women, whatever, or if it's like a racial thing, like if you've experienced something like that, it's like, there are different degrees and levels of, problems, but when they add up over a lifetime, it can weigh on you, and you would think that when you live in the world, that when you've accrued bad things, that people kind of give you a break, but they kind of judge you more, I know I'm like a hypocritical thing in that. It's like, I know most people will make fun of like single moms, It's like, oh yeah, you're a fucking single mom, you should have closed your legs. But the thing is like, my mom was a single mom, and you're like, but you had to study. Yeah, I know. It's a whole cheating thing with my parents. I know. But it's just like, that's a big a big thing. It's like, you can be a woman, you can get married to a guy that you love, and then he could just fuck some other girl, and then now you're a single mom. You know, like, you didn't choose that. Like, yeah, there's some women who choose to be single moms, and that's kind of fucking stupid, I'm not gonna lie. But most women don't choose, you know what I mean? Like, you don't go into a marriage like, yeah, I'm gonna date this guy for 5 years and then become a single mom. Like, what? But anyway, back to the point of the video. My dad, right? He was a workaholic Gen X guy. You know, always said, so you need to work, you need to focus on your own thing. You know, you always people. You know, he's like one of those guys, right? Well, he didn't do something properly with his work when he got a new job because he was a lawyer. He had his own practice. Now, and I know that sounds like he's rich. He really wasn't. You know, he started it from like nothing. It was like $10,000, and it like never really grew. But you know what I'm saying? He didn't fill out his insurance properly, or maybe the work, his place, they misplaced it, and he had a stroke. And this motherfucker took a shower and was getting ready for work when he had a stroke in front of me. And I saw this dude's brain scan in the fucking hospital, and it was like, he was so fucking stressed out from the modern life that we live in that it almost killed him. And I remember the first thing I asked him, which this is not me saying, oh, I don't care, but this is like really the reality of why I brought up the male example. This is just like, what are we gonna do about money? You know what I mean? And obviously I love that, you know, I love him, he's my dad or whatever, and I'm, you know, but it was like, when I was talking about the death example, it was like, if he had died, it like, after my step, I don't know, like, my brain just kind of doesn't, I just keep going, you know what I mean? Like, I know people will deal with, like, you know, like, you're you know, like, the dog you've had for 10 years dies and you're, like, ruined. I had a dog that got a year before I was born and had died when it turned 17. And I remember I just didn't feel anything, you know? Because I had experienced death, and it was just like, to me, it's like, I just don't, it is what it is, you know? Because nobody fucking cares. That's the point I'm trying to say. And you might like, this is so depressing. This is not depressing. In my life, there's many things I could be doing, right? I could give a fuck, and I could be like, why does nobody care about the hardships and things that I've been through? Well, guess what? That's not how humans are, you know? Humans are not naturally good, and we're not naturally evil. We're just naturally not giving a fuck, you know? Like, we have empathy. Well, some of us do, not the elites, but, you know, but it's like, I mean, if you're a girl and your boyfriend cheats on you and you go on the subway and you're crying about it and you're trying to go tell some guy who just got off work and his wife cheating, he's not, like, okay, you know what I mean? And that's the type of world we live in. It sucks. I'm not saying this is a good, you know, system, but it's just like, our world is so individualistic and hyper competitive. It's just like, it really makes you feel down. But the point of this video is to tell you that it's like, nobody cares about you. If you want to make a video, you want to go pursue your fucking dreams, you want to go do something, just do it. It's like that Shia LaBeouf meme. Just do it. I know I'm dating myself, but I'm not that old. I'm only 20. Point being, but it's like, nobody cared about me. I could have died in 7th grade. Nobody would know. Nobody would know. Nobody asked me how I was doing. Nobody cared. You know what I mean? Like, look at the Epstein thing. Look how many kids go missing, and it's just like, the world just goes on. It's a horrible thing humans do to each other, but the point of this video is to tell you that, like, look, if you're mad, or you're sad, rad, bad, I'm just rapping, I don't know. If you are having a hard time in life, and you want to go change it, and you want to do better, then fucking do it. And I know that it's not easy to do, but just know that it's just like, well, nobody's gonna, like, you know, like, the point is, like, if you think people are gonna look at you and judge you and sneer at you and laugh at you, you know, like, if you're a dude, you want to go start a car shop business, which, you know, I am in finance at school, and that, you know, has a high chance of failing, but hey, man, you get one life. If you're passionate about, I don't know, being a fucking car salesman, then go do that. You know, it's like you got one life, you know, and the thing is, the time is gonna pass regardless. Sorry, I'm trying to crane my neck. Can't see shit. Oh my god, semi-truck drivers. You know, but it's just like, if you want to go do something, go do it, you know? And I understand not everybody can just fucking go to college or whatever, or hell, even go to trade school, I guess. But it's just like, you know, if you are worried about people judging you or remembering you, or if you didn't, you know what, if you did something bad, well, not bad, but like, if you did something embarrassing, right? You fucked up. You asked out a girl and your pants fell down or some shit. I don't know, something dumb like that. And I can't ask out a girl again. Or something that happened to me, you know? I'm kind of being a hypocrite here. I don't want to date anybody seriously anymore. I grew up wanting the white picket fence and the love because my parents never had that, right? They were always, you know, dating other people, discussing, you know, shit like that. But then the girl did that to me, and then obviously I dated other people, duh. Not just one girl, but it was like, and then a girl that I had like, okay, I'm kind of a douchebag in this sense, because it was like, even though I loved this girl, I had always liked this girl since middle school, and I think this year she just got married, and then I was just like, yeah, I don't care anymore, you know? It's like, I'm not built for this modern dating realm where people just get under a new person every day, you know? Yes, have I had lots of sex? Yes, but in a committed relationship with like only 4 people, you know, and I'm only, you know, and I know it's funny I'm saying that at 20 years old, like I've had a long-term relationship, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, but the thing is, you know, I'm afraid, not that I'm afraid of intimacy, I'm just afraid of dealing with that again, because I just don't see the point, you know? But I'm trying to make people not be like me, and this is more about, you know, trying to go do something. If you want to go do something, do it, because nobody's gonna, like, yes, people are gonna make fun of you, you know, people will make fun of the shit I'm doing on YouTube, I know, right? I'm only, you know, I realize that it's just like, look, I love yapping to myself in the car, or my friend on voice messages, so I just decide to do this. If I make money from this, cool. If I don't, whatever. It'll annoy people on their For You page. I mean, this video's gonna get 0 views anyway, but the point is, it's like, you need to just go do something. And the bad things that happen to you, no matter what you are, man, woman, I don't know, child, whatever the fuck, you gotta just take it on the chin and go. You know, as much as that sucks to say, I mean, for example, like, I know, extreme examples like rape and whatnot, it's just, that's not a fucking fun thing to talk about, you know? I know lots of women think that, like, guys don't care about shit like that, but obviously we do. But it's just like, you know, for example, this is a, I'm not saying this as like, I believe this, or hold on, I'm not saying this to shame victims or anything. I'm just trying to give you a real world example, right? A woman who has dealt through that, or just anything traumatic, and then a woman who hasn't and is positive, is gonna attract the guy who's, you know, because she's being positive. And for me, I'm a very negative person, and it's just like, again, like, I haven't been raped per se, but hey, I'll out myself here. When I was a kid, there was this fucking, now listen, I had no problem with gay people, right? Gay friends, but it was a gay guy, so that's why I'm saying that. This fucking gay dude grabbed my dick, bro. Like, at the park, he was way older than me, and my brother got into it. It was a whole thing, you know? So yeah, I've been touched. It's not like I'm not fucking, and yes, I've had a girlfriend who, now this is not rape, because I still agree to do this, but I have experienced, you know, the thing girls say, oh my god, you need to stop, I'm retarded. Oh, fuck. Sorry. Like, I have experienced the thing where it's like, you know, these girls are often like, oh, I didn't really want to have sex, but I did anyway, but I still consented. Yeah, I've done that with the girl. I didn't want to one time. I was watching fucking Titanic. It's the only time, because I'm always down to have sex. But this one time, I just didn't want to. But I did. But the thing is I consented, you know? I'm not one of those people that's, like, going to say I was raped when I still said yes. But, you know what I mean? But it's like, I know dudes who have been, or whatever, and it's just, you know, so I'm not talking out of my ass, but obviously I'm not a girl, and I don't have that experience, so I'm not saying that I do, because that's way different. I know that. I'm only using the extreme examples because I said I was like going up in tiers. Like there's higher tiers than this. There's like I don't know if you say homelessness is up. Well, maybe, I don't know. But you know, it's like homelessness, you know, your kid dies, you know, your parents are dead, you know, stuff like that. It's like, you know, think about that. It's like, imagine being in a job interview. It's like, you know, it's like you're in a job interview and you're having a negative like attitude. You're having a hard time because let's just say your wife died and then your fucking daughter died in a fire. But then the guy that comes in after you is having a good day. He had a Pop-Tart, some dumb shit like that. He just bought a new car. They're gonna hire him, you know? And that's kind of the point of the video. Is it's just like, the world sucks. But the thing is that's, you know, we can't change that. And what I mean by that is it's like, I mean, humans have been sucky for what, like almost damn near a million years since our ape ancestors were walking around, you know? But what you can change is your willingness to just show up every day. That's all you have to do. That's what the point of the video is. Just show up every day. You don't have to be fucking positive. You don't have to be nice. You don't have to be, hell, you don't even want to be there. But you just gotta keep doing it, you know? Like stuff like suicide and giving up, it's just not the answer. It's not the answer for you, you know? You need to understand that when you give up, everything ends. That's what giving up is. But I'm not a gambling man because I don't gamble. I think that's stupid. But the point is with life, I think most people are gambling people, right? Every day, you never know what tomorrow could bring. Your life could change tomorrow. And you can live that way for 80 years and it could always be the same. That's true for most people. But what if it isn't? You know, a permanent solution to a temporary problem isn't the answer. You know, I don't care how bad life gets. I don't give a fuck if you're disabled. You know, that's another thing, another tier. It's like you're permanently disabled. You know, other people, it's like you used to be able to walk and now you can't walk, and everybody else is just living life without you. You know, but the thing is they're not living it without you. You know, if you're being shut in because of that, well, fuck that. You know, you need to understand that you are still you. You know, I've had that type of personal thing. You know, where I didn't like the way I looked and I made myself, I thought I was, you know, because I got really into the gym, but I just made myself uglier because I was constantly like overeating. It was a whole thing. Now, that's not the same as being disabled, but it's just like, you know what? If you used to be able to walk and you were a great dancer or something, I don't know, if you're a girl or if you're a guy, if you were a football player, and then you broke your leg and it's horrible or something, and you got into a car accident and now you can't walk, and now you're depressed because it's like, you know what? Who cares, dude? You're still you. Yeah, you can't do anything you used to do before. Your dating options are limited. People are gonna stare at you, but you know what? Fuck them. You know what I mean? It's a shitty fucking thing to have to experience. But that's your life, you know? And I get it. I get wanting to end things. And I'm not going to be this guy who it gets better, you know? I don't know. For sometimes it doesn't get better. That's a real thing, you know? Sometimes it doesn't get better. But the thing is you need to be a gambling man at that, you know? I think I might title this No One Cares or A Gambling Man, something like that. But just because tomorrow could get better, you know? Disabled people, I've been bewildered by the fact that, like, you could be a guy, you be 300 pounds in a wheelchair, you can marry a girl that loves you, and she's, you know, hot or whatever, you know? It's like, I've seen people like that. Hell, most dudes who are able-bodied can't even do that, you know? I think I saw that online. That was crazy, you know? But it's just like, if he can do it, so can you, you know? Or if you lost an eyeball, it's like, well, guess what? You still got one, you know? There's nothing wrong with you for having experienced a horrible thing like that. You know, if you've been raped, it's like, that doesn't, you're not damaged. You know, you went through a horrible traumatic experience, and anybody who's going to make fun of you or hold you down or, you know, try and, you know, oh, your body count's too high, you were damaged good. It's like, okay, fuck that guy or fuck that girl who's, you know, whatever. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? All right. Hopefully that was was, I guess, positive-ish. I know my examples were extreme, and I don't mean them to be hateful. I'm just like, I'm kind of a realist, you know? Like, I'm not gonna blow smoke up someone's ass and tell them things are gonna be perfect. But the thing is you also don't need to blow yourself up, if you know what I'm saying, over stuff like this, you know? Yeah, alright. That's my stupid opinion.